Who created God? This is a question that has lingered in the minds of humanity for centuries, stirring deep philosophical debates, theological reflections, and even moments of personal contemplation. If God is the creator of everything, who or what is responsible for the existence of God? It's a question that stretches beyond the limits of human understanding, touching on the essence of existence itself. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, we'll dive into the layers of this mystery in a way that will challenge your perception of reality. When we ask, who created God? We're trying to apply human logic to something that exists outside the boundaries of time, space, and causality. We live in a world where everything has a beginning and an end, where everything is created by something else. It's easy to think that if we're the result of creation, then the creator must also have been created by something else. But here's where things get fascinating. What if God, as the source of all existence, transcends the need for a creator? Imagine trying to understand infinity, a concept that, by its nature, has no end and no beginning. That's the realm where God exists, beyond the confines of linear time and the physical universe. God is often described as the uncaused cause, meaning God is the origin of all things but was not caused by anything. This idea shifts our thinking away from the question of creation and leads us into the depths of something even more profound: existence without origin. Now, this can be hard for us to grasp because our minds are so deeply wired to think in terms of cause and effect. But think about this. Every time we try to explain the origin of the universe, we bump into the same problem. If the universe was created by something, then what created that something? Eventually, the answer points to something that simply is, something that exists beyond the chain of cause and effect. And that's where the concept of God comes in. But what does it mean for God to be eternal, to have no beginning and no end? This brings us to the idea that God isn't bound by the same rules that govern the physical world. The divine nature exists in a realm beyond time itself, meaning there never was a time when God didn't exist. For God, there's no before or after, only an eternal now. This timelessness is difficult for us to wrap our heads around because as humans, we experience life in a linear way. We have memories of the past, we live in the present, and we anticipate the future. But for God, all moments are part of one eternal reality. God doesn't operate within the constraints of time, and that's why the question, who created God, may be rooted in our misunderstanding of what it means to be infinite and eternal. Now, some might argue that this explanation raises more questions than answers. How can something exist without a creator? How can there be no beginning? And those are valid questions, but they reveal more about the limits of human thought than about the nature of God. Just because something is beyond our understanding doesn't mean it isn't real. Consider this. Even though we don't fully understand the depths of the ocean or the vastness of the universe, it doesn't mean those things don't exist. They simply exist beyond the limits of our current knowledge. In the same way, God's existence might be beyond the limits of human comprehension, but that doesn't make it any less true. Ultimately, the mystery of who created God may be less about finding a logical answer and more about embracing the mystery itself. Some questions are meant to open us up to deeper reflection, to expand our awareness of the vastness of existence, and to remind us of the limits of our understanding. So, what do you think? Does this challenge your view of existence? Do you think the question of God's creation even needs an answer? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this, and don't forget to subscribe for more curious thoughts like this. If you're interested in exploring the deeper mysteries of life, check out the video in the description for even more insights. Until next time, remember, not every question needs an answer. Some are meant to deepen the mystery.